Oh boy, okay, well, I'm just gonna say this right now. Do not delete your video game in a fit of madness and or rage, because things, apparently, even though this is a legitimate device, I kept getting an error message where I had to reinstall things, so hopefully, whatever the hell happened this time, things are fixed. I'm really hoping that's what's happening. I don't know. It's concerning to me, but yeah, okay, that's neat. Anyways, alrighty, well, hi guys. I wanted to talk to you guys about something a little bit more important to me, and important to a lot of people, honestly, and hopefully I don't get kicked out, but hey, if that happens again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cry, and probably try to get it on my phone and hope it works there, because, I don't know, maybe my device was just lucky. The last few times I'm just constantly flipping, hoping nothing's breaking. I haven't done anything. I used it on the emulator once, and you know, it still works on the emulator. It just doesn't work on this device for some reason, but it seems to be doing okay. Anyways, first off and foremost, I guess I should mention that there are new quests, I believe. Yes, there are now okay, keyboard. Flyer mastery. Use a team of flyers to clear this, and this, and this, and this, and you get a lot of stuff. Cool. It's actually a good excuse to, like, level up flyers and try out a flyer team, which I actually have a few people who could probably do that, so I might try and do that. Anyone would be interested in a stream to watch that? Cool. Anyways, flyer mastery quest, that's neat, but I'm here to talk to you guys about something that's been bothering me for a little while. My god. That was not my... That was... I was about to say, did you guys hear that? That was my back, but no, that was actually the mic stand that is also breaking. God, things are just going all kinds of crazy. Anyways, I figured I would take the time to explain this because, or at least talk about it, because I wanted to ask you guys about this, and I wanted to kind of get your general consensus and see what you guys think. So, when it comes down to summoning, now more than ever, right? There are some rarer characters out there, you know, we can of course look at all of them here, but here's the thing. A lot of them are rare 5 and above, meaning that they only spawn at rare 5, so you have less of a chance to get them. I'm talking your, you know, your Lindys, your Ryomas, your Lins now, Takumi, Hector, things like that. These characters are rare, these characters are strange, and then, you know, you're never, you're not going to see them normally, and if you do, you're lucky, and if you see them more than once, you're extremely lucky, so good for you, congrats, that kind of deal. But the thing is, I've been seeing people talk about this since I talked about my last video, which was Lucas, and people keep going, oh my god, don't talk about him like that, but simply put, you know, last time we talked about Lucas, I said that his defense was his main draw, and that's still kind of his given, but the thing is, I saw a lot of people who were like, my Lucas has defense minus, you know, in IVs, which is the main thing that we're going to be talking about today. For those who don't know, or for those who do, or are in the know, and you know, oh, hi Lucas. I don't need a view, okay? But basically, when you spawn a character, when you create a character from the summoning, you know, session, they are randomly assigned both a boon and a bane, or an IV, whichever you want to call them. These are basic variations on their normal stats. Every character kind of has their own little neutral stat, what they're good at. You know, no character, you know, you're not going to get a Ninian that will suddenly have more attack or something like that, like a bunch of attack. Characters are set to certain stat gains and growths, and that's what they go off. But when you get a character, they're randomly assigned a disadvantage and an advantage. And the problem here is, like, someone was like, my Lucas has, you know, defense minus. He had a Bane in defense, and he had a plus in something like resistance. And they're like, is that bad? And sadly, yeah, that is kind of bad. Lucas, in his own right, is supposed to excel at defense, and it kind of sucks when you end up with the characters. Lucas is probably not the best example of this, but to give you an idea, my Lin here, she's not bad by any stretch. I believe she might have, like, minus HP and then like a bit of resistance, I forget, or defense, one of the two. She's not the best. And usually when it comes down to that, make no mistakes, when you get a unit, it's always great. They're always good, especially if you get a 5-star unit that is rarer than most. Typically, you know, if you get a Lindy, or if you get a Ryoma, if you get a Hector, these units will be fantastic no matter what. But IVs are still a major part in what goes on when you roll a character. And they could be the definition of what changes when you have a character that is based around, say, speed or attack. If you end up with, like, say, a Lindy, who for some reason does not have an attack or have speed, you might find that potentially she's a lot weaker or a bit weaker than her other alternatives, which might have, you know, bonus attack, or, you know, mine effectively is neutral in those stats, which is what kind of requires a bit here, but, you know, that's not exactly the most amazing thing. My unit could be potentially better if she had a better speed stat or a better attack stat, and that is what people worry about. It's never fun when you get, especially characters that are weaker. Like, give you an example. This is my two Leo. These are my two Leos that I have here. They're you can see the variations in their defense and resistance, and when it starts off, it's only one in that stat. But towards the end, if I believe it goes, if you have more HP, it's like 4, and the other base stats are like 3 by the end. So there's a difference of 3 in those stats. And if you have like a Bane, your attack will be -3 from where it should be neutrally, and then, you know, more if it's, you know, a plus. And honestly, that's kind of a bummer when you roll a really powerful character like Ryoma or Lindy, who are these powerhouses, but you end up with a character who has attack minus, or like for some reason you get Hector and Hector gets speed plus, and you're just like, what the hell? And then, you know, from there he like loses attack. It's not the best example, but, you know, those are the things that can pop up, and it's never fun to end up with characters like that who, you know, are rare and end up kind of getting hurt by it. So I was gonna ask you the question, guys, and since, you know, this is really the, I mean, I'm sure other mobile games kind of do this in their own regard, but I haven't really run into ones where when you're doing the gacha part, you get that, you know, that character that they have a variation in their stats, and that makes them a little bit different from yours or theirs. And, you know, this is probably the first game that's done that, and it's really weird, and it's really odd, but it's not terrible. And it's just kind of a bummer when you get these really rare units and you find out that they don't have the IVs you were going with, and you're just like, ah, crap. So, my question, if I were to give it to you, is, would you be against the ability to reroll, you know, stats? Like, and I'm gonna go through what my dream of it would be, since, you know, I figured why not, and give my idea of the systems that I could go through. So, when it comes down to it, people, oh, by the way, before people start complaining again, I get this always, constantly. Your castle, it's outdated. Well, yeah, but, you know, you can change the design. I just like the carpeted castle better than the other ones. It just looks a lot less gaudy. To me, at least. But still, nonetheless. Well, basically, what I have, I think, where do I look at my inventory? You know, I have quite a lot of great badges when it comes down to certain colors, like, seriously. And, you know, no orbs and a lot of feathers, but, you know, that's neither here or there. But, honestly, I don't use badges that much outside of maybe upgrading lower star units. The great badges and things like that, it's always so weird to me. It's always so strange when, you know, people are like, well, I want to be able to, you know, my IVs suck. I was thinking, well, you know, we have all of these badges here, and, you know, granted, it could be based on star rank and things like that. I would like the ability to re-roll, potentially with the badge system, because I do training a lot, and as you can see, I have a lot of badges in all sorts of colors. Some of them are, of course, from, you know, gauntlets and things like that, but still a lot of great badges. I was thinking, you know, maybe they could, you know, apply a service where you put up your character and it gives you the number of badges you need, and you can re-roll their IVs. It comes off to me that maybe it would be a better idea than simply trying to summon, but then again, they're trying to summon anyways, so I guess, you know, they want you to spend money, and they want you to do that. It just kind of sucks that, you know, potentially you're going to get a character that's really awesome, and then they kind of pop up and it's not that awesome. They're still awesome, just less so. Personally, I would like the ability to reroll, be it from feathers. Oh boy, that's a fun thing to think about. More feather uses. Yeah, that's something I'm sure everyone would be excited about. I think badges would be a nice alternative, but of course we could always go with orbs. You know, it's really a strange kind of thing to think about. But honestly, if it really came down to it, I would gladly pay for a service to re-roll my IVs for certain characters, because my Lucas, while not the most disadvantaged of them all, is, you know, he has negative attack Bane, I believe, and like a speed boost, which, not terrible, mind you, but like for him, I would much prefer the attack boost opposed to the speed boost, because he's a slow unit anyways. What do I need it for? And that's just the kind of idea that comes with it. It's not, you know, it's not going to cripple you, it's not going to change anything, but like trying to glance over the fact that IVs are in the game, and they're actually quite a major portion of the game. Like, people always go, oh, don't worry so much about IVs, but no, I like min-maxing. I like trying to figure out how much, like, you know, Lucas can hit certain stat things if he's, you know, these IVs, and how good that would go. I don't really see the disadvantage in maybe adding a portion that could potentially re-roll your IVs. You know, different ideas, different changes. Outside of that, I mean, it's still kind of an issue. I mean, those rare units are always so amazing when you get them. It might be a little bit nicer if you could, like, you know, for 5 orbs a pop, instead of, you know, summoning, instead re-rolling a character you already have. They're still getting the money if you're buying orbs or working towards it, or maybe, you know, use badges or things like that. That's just what I think. In my ideal system, it's not all about simple, you know, I mean, grinding helps, but, you know, orbs would be great too. I just think that since characters have such variance right now, it wouldn't be a bad idea to be able to change that variance, because it kind of sucks when you get a really powerful unit and they have negatives in the one stat that they excel at. Doesn't mean it won't change. I guess maybe the Sacred Seal system could kind of benefit from that a bit more. You know, eventually we're going to get other ones other than HP, and I believe, like, Attack 1. I forget what the other one was, but I know we have Speed, and, you know, Attack something, I think. Or was it something? There we go. It was Attack +1 and Speed +1, that's it. You know, I'm guessing these are the ideas of trying to maybe bolster that a bit. Well, it remains to be seen if this will really affect anything, but still, it kind of sucks in a way. I mean, maybe eventually they'll add something. We still have a huge update coming in the last half of April, which apparently is going to have, you know, defense missions and things like that. It'll be interesting to see, and I will really look forward to it, but, you know, would you guys be against re-rolling IVs? Would you like it? Would you actually take the opportunity to do so? Because, you know, it could be make or break. I mean, if my Lindy had, like, less speed, she couldn't potentially double up on some of the units that she does end up fighting, and even more, that would make Desperation, which she does have, quite useless. So, it does make or break builds at times, and it can be kind of troublesome. Doesn't mean it's gonna hurt her, but, you know, I mean, she's not hurting in speed in her own right. She has 41 here, but, you know, that's with that's with the Speed Sacred Seal as well. It's just kind of odd. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird when I think about ideas, but I would definitely bite on a system that could reroll IVs. Don't be too concerned about them, though. I mean, they're a major part, but if you're not worried about min-maxing and you're just happy to get a character like this, go with it. Roll with them, and you'll be pretty happy. Doesn't mean you can't try to min-max later, though. Maybe they'll add a system. I just wanted to try and ramble a bit because I went through hell getting this game back onto it. I'm not letting Christy win again. Good lord. So yeah, that's about it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little rant, little story. I just want to say I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you all very soon.